welcome back to the 17th episode of Amundson Family Podcasts.
I think it's more welcome back to you. You've been gone for a few weeks, haven't you?
That's true. I was gone for a while. The last podcast I was in the airport, right? Coming back.
Yep. And we interviewed you, of course. Mm-hmm. And the one before that, I did it all by my lonesome.
Aw.
I know.
Yeah, it feels weird to be back in the studio.
But you know what? It was kind of neat to be able to experiment with talking with you over Zoom.
Right.
It opens up endless possibilities. Like
Yeah.
we could interview Carrie Underwood, right? You think she would do that? Tell
Worth
her,
a
hey,
shot.
My wife used to babysit you. You can't say no to us.
Yeah, right. Or we went to our mom went to school with you and to church. Yeah. No, and then even people like that we know, we could Zoom, have them on.
There are so many people I would love to interview.
Right.
So we'll see if it goes that way.
Yeah. Or if Ira or I are gone, just
Zoom
perfect.
them up. Yeah. The only thing was, well, we won't talk about the technical things of it. Doing it over a phone or the computer, which I was doing it at, wasn't ideal. I was a little not so clear, but maybe with me that was okay.
Yeah.
You turned out good. You've got a new phone.
I do,
So your phone was crystal clear,
Yeah.
and they could see you well.
That's good.
So anyways, welcome back. You
Thank
had
you.
a good time in Canada for a weekend?
I did, yeah. Welcome back to the nice warm sunshine.
Yeah, so she took pictures when she first got there, and there was snow all over, and it was pretty cold.
Yep.
By the time you left, the melt had begun.
Yeah, it got up to 20s, I think, by the time I was leaving.
Celsius.
Yeah, or 80s, I think.
High 70. So springtime in Park Valley is wonderful because
Everybody gets stuck.
Well, that too. But the snow starts to melt and the creeks fill up.
Yeah.
And so we would love to go down to the creek by the Falls and watch the creek.
We were going to do that the day I was in Park Valley, but the creek wasn't quite ready. Almost.
So I would have to say, if it was up to me, I would have you go back to Canada, not for very long at a time, but every couple weeks, so that you could come back with coffee crisp.
Oh, yeah.
Smarties.
Coffee.
Canadian Smarties. Coffee. Timbits.
Yes.
We talked about that at the podcast.
So how were they?
You know what? They were pretty much all good. The little crullers, they were pretty hard.
Okay.
So if I would say if you have to wait a few days, then I wouldn't get those.
Yeah, I asked them to randomize it, but I'm glad they made it. I was really scared. Thought they were going to be hard, like rock hard by the time they made it.
No, they were good.
That's good.
They were thoroughly enjoyed.
That's good.
So yeah, if you could go back every couple weeks and get our stash of Canadian things that we miss.
Well, here's the deal. I'll go back if you pay for my tickets.
Oh yeah, the only other thing I wish you could have fit in your suitcase was Kraft peanut butter.
Yes, are we out?
We are out, and I had to buy Jif again.
Gross.
And it's just not the same.
I don't know what, they must put crack in there. I don't know what it is.
Same as the Tim Horton coffee, right?
Yeah, right? But there's something in that, what is it, Kraft peanut butter? It's just so smooth and buttery.
So you came back from Canada and you had to work the very next morning.
Yep.
But now you've gotten 2 days off.
In a row.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah, but now I work 3 days.
Yeah.
So
today we had an adventure.
We did.
I had instructions to go and pick up a trailer full load of soil for the garden under Mother's under Mother's direction. Mm-hmm. So that's what we plan to do.
Okay.
Right? We went and we borrowed a neighbor's dump trailer. It was full of metal. Mm-hmm. So this morning, well, not really early, about 11:30, you and I, we went and we got the metal sold. We dumped it out at the salvage and they paid us. And then we went on to Muskogee to go, do a little bit of shopping. And, which reminds us, you and Mom went on a hike last night.
Yes. So when you're done your story, I have a story.
Okay, well, why don't you tell that now?
Okay, so Mom and I were on a hike yesterday, and we were hearing some stuff in the bush. Like, we were getting pretty far deep into the woods, and it was getting dark out, like because we started when it was light, but it was starting to get, dark, and we were covered in trees. And we start hearing stuff, and we're like, oh, it's probably just the birds. And then all of a sudden, we both hear something, and we look to the direction of where we heard it coming from, and there was this round, black-looking thing. We're like, oh no, that's bad. So we booked it, the opposite direction. And for y'all who don't know, we have hogs around here, and I don't mean the cute little pink piglets. No, I mean these are killer hogs. Like they will eat you alive, I think. Well, they will hurt you anyway. Probably eat you too. And I'm not talking like tiny little
like fangs
pigs.
And all.
Yeah, they have horns and fangs and whatever else, and they're huge. Apparently, I've only seen them dead, but they will do some real damage. So we were like, we're getting out of here. So we ran the opposite way. We ran quite a ways. Made it out alive.
Oh, when we first moved to Oklahoma, I thought, okay, they got snakes, and they got spiders, and they got tornadoes. I kind of settled into in my mind, I'm going to be okay with that.
Yeah, right.
But then I found out about these wild hogs.
Killer hogs.
And I'm thinking, wait a second.
What else?
I wasn't prepared for this. And so then you hear stories from neighbors about them going hog hunting and how...
That sounds fun.
They got... Do you have a story? Then about, how they would get ran off with the hogs would chase them.
Really? As they were hunting?
And so if you weren't quick with the gun...
And you need those big guns.
It could be dangerous.
Like I'm sure you could unload your gun, like a small gun on it, but that's what Grandpa says anyway. But you probably have to take a big 30-30 or something.
Yeah.
Or bigger.
And my friends have 2 hogs.
Pets?
Yeah. Big hogs. At least big to me, because I've only seen little tiny.
Right. So are they going to eat them, or what are they for?
Or are the hogs going to eat them?
I hope not. They're enclosed, and for pets, I'm pretty sure.
So I guess we'll have to make sure that the hogs don't get into our garden.
Yep.
So on with the story.
Okay.
We go to Muskogee, and we notice that the temperature is starting to rise on the truck.
Yeah.
And so we stop at a place, and I look underneath, and sure enough, there is antifreeze just pouring out.
Yep.
And I take a peek at it, and because I had changed the water pump on our Suburban just like a couple months ago, I knew what it looked like when a water pump was leaking. So I knew, okay. So we went to O'Reilly's. Thank you, O'Reilly's. And we bought some antifreeze, and we put it in, and then we filled up with fuel, and we limped home on the back roads just in case we needed to get Ira to come tow us back. But the temperature stayed okay, and we brought it to our local, what are they called?
Triple J?
Triple J service station, where some good friends of ours have a service station, and they will fix it up really good.
Take your trucks and cars to them.
Yeah, take your trucks to Blake at Triple J service.
Yep.
And tell him the Amundson family sent you. Maybe he'll give you a deal.
Maybe.
So we brought the truck back and had Ira meet us in town with the other truck. We swapped trailers or swapped trucks, and then Ira came with us, and we all went to Muskogee, did a little shopping. Hopefully will help with the hog situation.
Yeah.
And then we got and then while you were shopping, Ira and I went and we drove into the lot where they were loading the soil. And I could tell as soon as I drove in there that it was just soft and spongy.
Oh, no.
And I think, I probably won't even get out of here empty, let alone loaded. But I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to load up anyway. So we pull up there. He loads us with the excavator. Not even a full load, but I could tell we sank, like this far into the clay. It was dry but spongy.
Yeah.
And I could not move an inch. And so we found a chain, and he came and he pulled us out all the way. And it was an adventure.
I wonder how many people he's had to pull out of there.
We were the first ones.
Really?
Yeah. So that didn't...
How? You must have
don't-
been the first ones who loaded with.
Maybe
hay.
they all were loading with like a light
Soil.
truck and trailer.
Maybe.
But we were loaded pretty
That's
heavy.
funny.
So back home and it was
So what are you doing? What are we doing with this?
Oh yeah, that was what I was going to get to next. So Mom wants an above ground garden. So we have
Aren't they
old
all-
troughs and water troughs that we're going to put soil in
Yeah.
and have like potatoes and all the garden stuff above ground.
Okay.
Now we'll plant stuff in the ground later. See, talking about differences between Oklahoma and Canada, we didn't plant our garden in Canada late May. We waited till late May.
Right.
That's how we planted everything. Well, here, I think some people were planting potatoes in February.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Dang.
I know.
What?
So we're late.
Yeah.
So we got to get moving on this garden so we can, so we can get some things growing. Do you remember gardening at home?
Oh yeah, all the time. I remember gardening with Grandpa a lot because he had his big garden behind the house, and we would. Yeah, I remember planting potatoes.
I let you all have your own little piece of garden that you
That was the
tended
best
to.
part. Yeah. I think that was smart on your guys' part. To us, it was like, oh yeah, I get my own little garden. But to you guys, it was like, yeah, they get their own garden. That's their job. Yeah, and I remember picking raspberries. That was a big part of gardening with Grandpa.
Yes, he had a big raspberry patch.
Pails and pails, and I mean, we'd I remember the cousins, we would all go if we were at Grandpa's. And we would go in the middle of it, and we'd like, it was so cool. There were like these little tunnels, and we're talking a big patch. Like there were little tunnels that went through the patches in and out, and we would like, the best raspberries were in the middle. So as kids would like crawl into these little, well, even we were short enough that we didn't have to crawl into these little
Trails.
and inside the middle, and we'd come out just scratched up. But we were kids, we didn't care.
Oh yeah, every other day we had to be picking raspberries. That's how it was. Good raspberry.
You would turn around
stuff.
and it would be grown again.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
So it's interesting, growing up, Dad was the gardener in our family. Like Mom helped, of course,
Yeah.
but Dad was the one that planted, and he was the one that harvested, and he was out there early in the mornings weeding.
Really?
And then what the most memorable thing, other than us having to weed, we all had so many rows that we had to weed. But come July, when the peas were ready, a lot of times Dad would get up early and start picking, but then we would come help him pick. And I'm serious, we would have 10, 12, 15 big 5-gallon pail
Seriously?
fulls of peas.
Wow.
And so then after that, we'd all sit around in the living room or outside on the deck, and we would
Snap peas.
shell peas.
I remember that.
And we got so good and fast. And we were pretty proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
We figured, well, we're probably the fastest pea shelling family ever.
Yep.
And we'd have races and things like that.
I remember doing that with the cousins as well. I mean, your thumb would go numb after a while of like, because I don't know, maybe it was my method, but my method was they just took my nail and cut it open.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to have to teach you the trade
Maybe.
at some point.
But I thought I was pretty good too. We got through them pretty quickly. Or we would often bring them into the living room and watch TV while we shelled them.
It was a memorable time for us.
Yeah.
It was time that we spent as a family, and of course then Mom had the big job of blanching all these peas.
Right.
And so we had several big freezers.
Yeah.
And they were stocked full of peas because peas was our favorite. Peas and then she would can fruit, and because of all the raspberries we had buckets and buckets of frozen raspberries.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was
And
still
frozen worms.
yeah, which is still my favorite treat ever.
Yes, little cream and sugar.
Frozen raspberries with some cream and sugar on it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
Good times.
Maybe we need to get raspberries here.
Yeah. Well, we just need to start growing more. It was fun. As a kid, I was like, come on. I don't want to pick beans and carrots and whatnot. But actually, carrots was fun picking because you got to pull them out
Yeah.
from the stem.
And potatoes. Well, you remember our potato patch back on the farm.
Pretty big.
It was huge.
Yeah.
And so we did a lot of potatoes. And we had to, of course, dig them, and they all got hauled down into the basement, into our cellar area.
We actually have a picture of us kids, and I think Jonathan, of us with the whole load of potatoes in the Bobcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put that on.
Yeah, maybe we can find that.
Yeah. No, it's fun times.
Yeah. But our staple at home for meals that Mom cooked was either some roast and then potatoes and peas with gravy, of course.
Yeah, best meal.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah. The only thing is, there's a big difference in the temperature here.
Yeah.
So come middle of summer, it gets so hot, and so if you do water it, it grows really fast, as do the weeds. It didn't seem to grow so fast back home.
Yeah. So hot and the water dries up and yeah.
So anyways, it's a learning curve. It is different growing thing. And of course you grow different things. We have okra here.
Yeah, ew.
You haven't caught on to liking okra?
I don't like it. It's slimy.
It is kind of slimy. I have had it where it isn't, if you fix it right. But yeah. But what we grow good here in Oklahoma, here, it's about this big.
Oh, watermelon.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the watermelon. Oh, and the other thing that I have not tasted anywhere better than here,
Cucumbers?
tomatoes.
Oh, that's
Do you
true.
remember we were on a trip here one summer, and it was the year we got our Suburban up here from
Okay.
Uncle Richard, and Paul, a good neighbor of ours and friend, sent us home with a pail of tomatoes.
I do remember that,
And
yeah.
those were the best tomatoes I had ever
We also
tasted.
have a picture.
Because we stopped and had lunch at a
That's
place.
true. Tomato sandwiches.
Yeah.
Still a good snack. Yep. Little bread, toast, mayo, tomato, and pepper.
Simple. I don't know how many meals we had of just tomato sandwiches.
Yeah, those are good. Really
Okay.
good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Well, you have a song, don't
I
you?
do, yeah.
In the meantime, Anna, would you come to my mic and you can tell the joke? And I'll get Sonora fixed up here.
Thanks.
So I have 2 jokes today. Why was Cinderella so bad at soccer?
Why?
She kept running away from the ball.
Hey, that's a good one.
That's good.
For all these horse lovers, what did the horse say after it tripped?
I
What?
hurt my knee.
Help, I've fallen and I can't giddy up.
Wow.
Oh, good ones. Thank you, Anna.
Yes.
It's good to hear from you again. Here's a song that we did for a little while,
Couple months, maybe.
and then we just stopped doing it for some reason. Ready to try it out?
Yeah.
It's called Bowling Green.
All right. Wish I was in Bowling Green, sitting in a chair. One arm around my pillow, miss, the other around my dear, the other around my dear. Bowling Green. Good think we kind of made up that ending, but that's okay.
Hey, we ended at the same time, right?
Yeah, hey, that's what counts. I think I forgot to play at the end.
I thought, are you doing something we didn't talk about
we
here?
didn't practice. No, well, I went through a town in Bowling Green, Missouri, I think, right?
Is there a Bowling Green, Missouri? There might be.
Oh no, on the way to Canada we went through Bowling Green.
Well, I know there's a Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Ira and I went through a town called Bowling Green on the way to Canada.
Well, if there's one thing I could tell you about the United States as a whole, they have a lot of towns that are the same name.
True. And weird names like Wada. We got what do we got? Wada, Eufaula.
Yeah, there's some sentence if you fall in a lot of water, something like that.
Yeah, make up a sentence.
Maybe some of the locals will correct us on that.
Right.
Now, I think Anna has something to read.
Ooh.
Do you have a little devotion to read?
Yeah.
All right, well, here, why don't you step up to my mic?
So this is out of my devotional book, Cat Lovers devotional book, and my verse is Psalms 34, verse 17 through 19. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from all of them.
Well, isn't that nice? How does that make you feel?
Good.
Yeah? He's always there for us, especially when we're feeling down. He's there to comfort us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's one of my favorite verses. I've always loved that verse.
Is that right? For those who are crushed in spirit, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of God.
Mm-hmm. It's very encouraging.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a good song.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming out. And again, if you have any suggestions about things you'd like us to cover or do, let us know in the comments. In YouTube, the comments will be down there. Right?
Sideways, upside down.
Oh, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I don't know. So I'm not sure, but it's the red button that says subscribe. Would you please do that? And then in the description, you will see Night Fox Animation, and that's Gabe, who puts together all these wonderful podcasts and makes us look and sound good. As good as we can.
Yeah.
If you would be so kind as to push on that and subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. And if you want to know about our website, go check that out at AmundsonFamilyMusic.com. And the fellow that made that is our very own Ira. And he has Amundson Media Productions. Go look him up too. The more support you can give, the better.
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
I do not.
She's going to be, maybe we can convince her to put out an album or something of songs.
Ooh, if I had the time to record. Maybe never mind. I'll stop there.
Maybe we'll. You never know who's listening.
Okay. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye.